To both European, Bryce and 10. Fellas, what time is it over there and how you guys doing?
Currently it's 8 p.m. and you know, I've got to say something about the beans on toast versus the baguette boys comment. Even as a European, I'm not sure we can let that one fly, Ton.
No, I'm not letting it fly anymore. All this slander that we get in UK foot. I've got so much to say, but not enough time to say it at this moment in time. We do have a good series on our hands here, though. I think I agree with the guys there. It is time for London to maybe get things rolling just a little bit more, but there is an opportunity for Paris to get themselves further up that board here today. It should be an interesting one, and looking through the map set, it's very similar, obviously, to how London played up against Thieves yesterday, but that building control is something I'm curious on. London yet to win it, Paris yet to play it. I'm interested to see what happens when we get to map 3.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, this is a very interesting game for me. London at the moment, we've heard rumors, obviously there's been talks about the roster change. Obviously that's the big one. We've heard about role changes coming through. It's a good thing London had a really good start to the season, because at the moment I think this is their rebuilding phase. They are trying to figure out what form they need to be in for the rest of the season. On the other side of it though, Paris Legion, I don't think they're a joke team for maybe the first time in 2 years in the CDL. I genuinely think this team is on the up, on the come up. I think they have a good opportunity to kind of bounce themselves out of that bottom 4. I don't know if it's too late in the season to do that. What I do know is they're no longer an easy game for anyone.
Absolutely not. It's not going to be an easy game here for the London Royal Ravens, but I would kind of be inclined to agree with you. They are very much just trying to find themselves here. The change-up came as a slightly unexpected one. Well, that's the best possible start when it comes down to Gav. They get control of P1. That's just a good time on the board, but very interested to see how Harry performs as time goes on. I want to give this roster a little bit more time before I'm criticizing them too much.
Yeah, you got to remember, Gizmo was a large part of the puzzle here for London Royal Ravens, and a good reason why they've been doing so well. And speaking of doing well at the moment, Paris Legion not able to get a look in towards this first P1 as they try to make one final push in towards it as London go for boat control.
Yeah, rotations here. This next gunfight for Nasty is important. One below him. Temp's going to get the better of him. A couple of kills coming at a crucial time for the Paris Legion. Harry's found his way through here, though. Can he disrupt anything? No, he cannot. Good control from Paris. They get a little bit of scrap here. Complete control of boat. This is going to be a hard push for London.
They're trying to get into this one very, very quickly at the moment. Paris Legion holding the line against them. Jimbo finally get on the board with that, but it has pushed them all the way back towards Cliff. John's going to stay on low. Needs to get that health back at some point. He looks for these players that are coming towards him. And you can see at the moment, London not having all their own way. They've got to try and make this hard break.
Lovely setup here from Paris. John trying to stay alive. He may have been the piece of the puzzle that London needed to get rid of. Temp now holding the ladder as well. It's just hard for London to break through. They've had to be patient, and I managed to find a couple of kills, but is it going to be enough to break through? Looking unlikely, as Jimbo will now find some kills here as well. Him and Gravity really have been stepping up to the plate for this Paris team, and that is a wonderful hold over towards P2. 20 seconds to go. Rotations over towards P3 going to start coming in shortly, but that is the majority of the time going over towards Paris on P2.
I see a little bit of scrap down there for London. Now bring them back within striking distance, son. But it's all about this rotation. Gravity already winning a big one here. Nasty going to be hoping to hold on to P1 control. It'll be him versus Temp for the gunfight. And Temp takes it away. And that does mean the Ravens will probably try and force this through green.
Yeah, they're going to have two members of the Paris team waiting for them, though. John and Jimbo. Can they lock this one down? John takes a few shots. Gonna have to back on Dan Harriers there, as well as Afro just trying to get up in his face. Jimbo trying to lock it down on his own. Spawn in a green here, though, for Paris as well. It should be more than difficult for Harry to get any further. Just a slow but steady push here for London. It's a bit of a difficult one, isn't it? I mean, they've kind of been forced out of every hill we've seen so far outside of P1, and they haven't really had any purchase whatsoever. But is this maybe the entry? Not looking likely. Paris, when they're getting inside the hills, looks so solid. London might be chalking this one up already.
Yeah, it's been a rotation battle, and the one that Paris have won the last two. You see here, though, Jimbo in a crucial position. He wants to figure out a way through this. He's desperately looking for the London players anyway. Temp also making some moves. And they're pushing around the back here. John might have just got through. He hasn't found any players. Going to fight Nasty. Gets that first gunfight, turns around. There was a player towards Stark. And now John desperately trying to play his life here. They said they need to step up, and he's looking for them. He's going to see Zero, and they're going to get gunned. The stun hits him at the wrong time, and London will be holding this one now. An opportunity for them to try and get this lead back.
No, the kills are coming in, but John did such a good job of staying alive. His team just not close enough to help him out. A little bit of respite now for London. They can sort of take a breath, gain their composure, get your sight lines locked down. John trying to find a way through the front door. Nasty cutting himself around, getting aggressive on the defensive side. Nobody in the point for London, though. His Temp is going to peel some of them off. Have to be careful here. They could get caught.
They're going to try and make sure that nobody can push through dark and hold them off here at the same time. And realistically, Paris do just not have the bodies anywhere near this point to try and actually convert that into essentially a spawn trap. And now just be kind of like damage control for Paris. They'll be looking to get as many kills out of this as they can, ready for that next rotation. They know they haven't got this one, but they did about as well as they could have expected.
Yeah, not too bad from Paris, kind of a 50-50. They stopped London getting much time. But Paris now rotating over towards P5. You got a decent little lead. It's been a good start. Let's go for a listen in with the Paris Legion.
Hard on cliff right now, guys.
Yo, Ero,
What's open?
Afro's cut.
Cliff, nasty dead.
Okay. Afro looking for zero. Zero and Harry. Zero and Harry.
Top cliff. Stay boat. I'm one shot, John.
Nasty and Afro all spawn.
They can get out real cliff, John.
Yo, one's behind us right there. Harry.
Back right hill. Yeah, they spawn in. He's back right barrels and one left side.
One is still boat, one's top.
Yeah, he's mid tank.
One spawn behind him still.
Yo, he's at the mid door, by the way.
Stay ring, bro. We're all spawning.
One's at the mid door. Middle.
I hit him on hill with an 8.
Naded two.
One's ring already.
F1.
That's still backside barrel somewhere.
That's one.
One shot.
Back right barrels. One shot.
I'm gonna help him.
I got him. We got it. It's a
rotation
Yeah,
here.
rotate. That's the big one. Nice.
We never killed Harry, bro. Yeah, he's low. P3 on me. Harry weak.
I'm coming.
Harry weak. P3. Reach out. He's on a 3.
Nade
He's
him.
stunned.
Top bolt, right side bolt.
Top P1 nasty. Top P1 nasty. One shot.
I want top right side bolt. Spawn trapping.
Nice. Nasty was a bullet. Top P1.
Alright. I'm gonna shift him.
Around with you.
Hold on. I'm nading one shot. He's one shot.
That's a good push back there from London, but I got to say, I've never listened to Paris Legion where they sound particularly happy in the comms ton.
Yeah, Temp's always letting them know if things are going wrong. I don't know if I agree with doing it in game, but maybe just to sharpen your team up. But that was much better from London, albeit a little bit of a helping hand from some spawns. Whether or not Paris maybe lost control of them areas of the map that they needed to keep control of or not, that was a tough one to see. But Zero really heating up now. 10 spree for him. Can it be 11? Gravity will just about feed his bullets through that railing, but that is damage done. Zero now with the glide bomb as well. That's going to be the ace in the hole for London Royal Ravens. Where can they use it to be a good hold over towards P1 once more? But this rotation to P2 last time was not good enough. Paris locked down a substantial amount of time. They need to win these engagements.
This time London taking no chances. They already have bodies over towards boat. I don't think Gravity should be able to hold off all of them. Can he do it though? Afro somehow slips the net. Goes back down, looks for another try here. Is only Gravity going to be holding? The rest of the Legion on the flank coming in from John. You can see more Paris Legion trying to actually squeeze them here before they even get to the point. But Gravity with a team kill onto John as well. And more players going down, and it looks like London should have initial control here.
I love that play from John as well. It was so well set up. He was just distracting. He's like, okay, you guys have to come back and deal with us. Can my teammates do the job over towards Bud? Well, your teammates did a job on you, unfortunately. Grenade flies over. It doesn't help you out. But for all of this control that London have had, they haven't found many points. But that's momentarily a few dead. The side of Paris Legion, it's going to be a fight through from Green and Afro up in your face as well. Never an easy situation to deal with.
Yeah, you can see at the moment Paris are actually stalling just a little bit. Maybe a bit of hesitance. They do not want to give away this spawn. They know what London are trying to do. And while they are doing this, London are getting the points. Harry, that with a huge kill on the rotation, stays alive as well. Gravity desperately looking for him. He is all alone, though, in a sea of Legion. Can he find his way to stay alive? He's still doing an incredible job. He's made the Legion concentrate on him completely. The rest of the Ravens trying to get through tower.
Oh, Afro slipped the net here as well. Oh, that Temp's around the right-hand side. No, we want the gunfight to come through, and Paris Legion will defend green side of the map. Nasty just taking his time here, but remember that London do have that streak if they choose to use it. And if they keep getting caught where they are right now, they may well choose to do so. But is it worth it? That's the question. You have to just try and judge it. And I would say at this time, I mean, you can allow Paris Legion to be in a really healthy lead here. By the time they pick up these next 40 points, if they do so, if you're London, you really have to commit to this.
Yeah, the problem is they can't really use that streak until they get a little bit of control of this map. They are too far away to make it effective at the moment, and with P1 control completely to the Legion, you can even see London have just given this up. They're not even going to attempt it. There's no point in them pushing this hill right now. So it's all about pushing to next here. That safety net of that glide bomb could very well play crucial if Legion start to win the trades.
Yeah, Jimbo might have one here. He's on a 6 spree. Need to keep an eye on how Jimbo's going to do. Is he going to be able to find the 7th kill? Because this glide bomb could break open this final hill is what would be needed for Paris. 40 points away is all they are. If they can find a break here, they may be looking good. London had set up high, but they've already lost their first member. That's going to be Afro to fall. Now they're sitting deep. Are they going to be able to lock this one down?
Oh, look how far away they are. The Legion are taking this slow and steady. Let's see if they win the race. And Harry's been found by Jimbo. The glide bomb is in. They have it. He's going to call it straight away for this one, to call it out for his teammates. This is information as well. He knows where they're all spawning. Trying to get that one off Hill. He does. Zero's going to go down. Jimbo's now going to push forward with his team. They know they're locked at the back here. This is where the trades will come in for both teams. Who's going to end up winning it? You can see London flooding through, Paris flooding through at the same time. Afro trying to save his temp and gravity now. And they know they can do some serious damage to London if they can lock them in the back. And London have fallen at this juncture. They will be Paris, who currently have the time, and if they get all of this, they'll be within striking distance of winning the hard point.
Oh, they're in spitting distance of winning it here, Brycey. They are going to clean it out. That's big time for London. They'll pick up the final 7 or 8, and the important thing is they still have that streak on 0 as well. But I wouldn't be using it until you can get in a decent spot, and you need to go quickly. London need to start moving very, very fast. You need to see... did he use it already? I didn't see it come in either way. No, he hasn't used it. Here we go. It needs to be in. It needs to be perfect. From 0 goes the wrong side. Now you need to fight your way through. You only have 8 seconds, 7, not long.
Well, it looks like Paris have completely thrown up the wall. There's nobody here from London who can touch the hill. And Paris Legion take down the Ravens on map number 1. It was close, but that break, that glide bomb that Jimbo managed to earn was the catalyst for them. And they have put Ravens on the back foot.
And that's a tough one to bear for the London Royal Ravens. They really didn't, I want to say, get a point from P3 all the way through over towards P4. They were getting a few, but I mean, they were stuck on 180, and it was just Paris catching up and Paris catching up all the way through. That was a disappointing one for the London Royal Ravens, because you have 0 on that streak, and ultimately it's completely useless towards the end. It's that P3 hold that really gets the job done, and obviously having to play that very, very slowly for Jimbo to get a hold of that 7th kill. They get the glide bomb, they break P4. And I want to say, you know, they kind of split it for the most part, but it's job done at that stage. You got London spawning towards the back. You get a perfect rotation over towards green. Nicely done from the Paris Legion. And honestly, they were kind of just better on every single rotation for the most part. They were locking down really good time when they were getting there first and had time to set up, which is typical, but at the same time, they did a good job at it. London, for the most part, when they were set up at the same time, they did not lock down as much as they could have, ultimately costing them towards the end that deficit just too far to catch up with that sprint across the map as well. Well played from the Paris Legion. Rotations on point, Bryce.
Yeah, it 100% was, and I think the biggest catalyst for the Ravens and the biggest swing they had, realistically, was when Zero went on that 10 streak. Wasn't having the best of games before that, but it does seem to kind of sway in their favor a little bit and get them the points right back when they needed to. Unfortunately, not an awful lot happened for the rest of the round for him. I think he was 14 and 8 there. I think he ends up like 16 and 19. It doesn't really go great for him, and that slaying power is what made a difference as well in the end. If you take a look at the final scoreboard when we get to it, I think every member of the Legion is positive.
Yeah, really did have a good time with things, and I think a lot of that stems from that P3 hold they get a hold of, which ultimately resulted in this, of course, the glide bomb coming in. Damage is already done. And to be honest, Legion were already in a really good spot until that glide bomb came in anyway. They were looking so good, and not really a lot London could do from there. A relatively close game, but it felt like one that Paris were mostly in control of the majority of the way through. They'd be happy with that one. It never felt like London were going to win that one. It never really did. There was, as you said, that flash of moment from Zero when he went on that 10 spree, and that was when they started to make a comeback. But most of the way through, it was really Paris dominating. And a Berlin Search and Destroy coming up next as well. Not a good map for London at 2 and 7. Paris Legion are in a good spot here. This is a very, very dangerous territory for London. Map number 3 there, 0 and 2 on that. Paris yet to play it in competitive play. This is not the best start whatsoever. London would have not necessarily been counting on that map, but it would have been a nice one to maybe lead on further in the series.
Yeah, like I said before, I think London are in full rebuild, and there's many reasons for that we'll go into later in the series. But before we look backwards, let's look forward and talk about our Search and Destroy. Our top performers for this one, Temp and Zero. As you can see, not a million miles away in the statistics. A 1.10 for Temp and a 1.09 for Trey.
Yeah, Temp's been really, really good for this Paris Legion team. And he's going to have to be here to beat London. That's still, you know, with the rebuild that we've talked about, with the fact that they have had to change Gizmo out for Harry. They're still a dangerous squad, and I am honestly going to give them time. If they lose this game today, I think there will be a lot of hysterics online, I would say. But at the same time, you know, they've just brought somebody in who was arguably one of their more enigmatic players. aBeZy had a phenomenal start to his CDL career, absolutely, but it did tail off just a tad, but he was still very, very important to this roster. But aBeZy, a very different player to Harry. This just completely changes the team. So
yeah, and this is
it is going to take time, right?
It is going to take time for many, many reasons. Like, okay, so let's talk about that hard point. There is one thing we're going to bring up. Do you remember, and I'm sure many people watching this now remember, London were the #1 break team, right? We didn't see it in that hard point. It's a rebuild. I think at the moment, considering that London have been, and I was unlucky in the way that their formation's been built in this team. They've brought Harry in. Harry is not a bad player. I've not seen him be a bad player. I don't think that's the issue. They've just got to try and find that old magic they had at the start of the season. Unfortunately, that takes time. And they are in a good position in the league. As you can tell, like if you go back and look at the statistics, they're fine at the moment. They have this time to rebuild. I think once London get their feet back under them and get back into this, they'll be great. And they can still win this game. Like, you got to remember, like, Paris is, while it's no longer, like I said, a bad team anymore, it's definitely not one of the titans in the CDL. They can still have a very good game here, and it wouldn't surprise me if they did.
Yeah, I mean, it is a very possible comeback, but honestly, I don't like these next 2 maps of London. I really don't. The stats tell the story, although Paris Legion not necessarily setting any worlds on, or any worlds on fire, I should say, on the statistics side of things when it does come to this one. But Berlin, Search and Destroy, they both like their first splits. Paris very much at the forefront of that one, but only ever so slightly. So they will be important. Can they convert them? That is the question. But I say I don't love these next 2 maps for the side of London. A 3-0 wouldn't be surprising at this stage, but also a comeback would also not be surprising.
Well, as that old adage says, only time will tell. Let's find out, though, as we jump onto the Search and Destroy on Berlin.
So London loves a fast attack, but we're going to go with Paris first time around. It's fast over towards B. Is Nasty going to be ready for this? No, he is not. Jimbo first there. Jimbo first blood. Jimbo getting the bomb down.
See, the rest of London are lining up. There's no flank coming through for them. Paris are actually setting up, expecting at least one player to potentially hit the flank against them. There's going to be 3 players of London trying to hit the front and play around this. It's not going to be very, very easy. We know the stereotypical place to plant this bomb and defend it from. Zero's going to be trying to pick off those ARs, overwatching.
I mean, this is the
hasn't
worst.
Found a single one. Gravity, though, finds Harry.
They haven't had anybody flanking. Yeah, they haven't had anybody flanking here, though, London. It just makes things so difficult. Although, when Zero is beaming like that, maybe it doesn't. It's all of a sudden a 2v2. But John's going to be there in the hole here. There's one from behind. That just makes things so difficult, especially with that amount of time left on the clock. Probably a round over towards Paris. Valiant effort, specifically from Zero, has to be said as John does clean them up. But the retake over towards B, I mean, look, Paris are obviously going to be set up for that. A little bit of pressure at mid-map would have helped them there, London. They decided to go all 3 through the front, and I think that was maybe not out of choice, but more necessity.
So I don't kind of hate it from Zero. I think realistically,
you just have to win your gunfights, right?
Yeah, he was just going for it, straight for the gunfight, right? He's just looking for it as well. And at this point, I think, yeah, I don't know. I was expecting maybe somebody to try to hit mid-map and trying to work an angle. Didn't work out for them in the end, but they're on the attack now. And we can see Paris are going to get the first blood. Well, I was going to say first hit onto Zero, and he has to back off just a bit.
Yep, fast plant, so the hallmark of London, so to speak. You really do like getting control of these sites, getting that bomb down and just saying, right, let's square up then. Nasty trying to stay alive inside of office. Afro has to be careful. Jimbo very much lingering. Bombs going down, though, and Zero's playing his normal spot. Top 3 as well. Watch for the cross that Paris are going to try and do through fire. Zero should be there to try and shut it down as the bomb goes down.
Bomb down, doesn't give him the advantage. Jimbo's gonna see this player here as well. Can he get the kill? He does. That trade comes through. Back to a 3 versus 3. At the moment, you see Legion actually have control of the site, but they are looking for these players. Afro's gonna go down to Jimbo as well. It's a 3 streak for him. Unfortunately, he is now left alive by himself. And London should have this pretty much sewn up. Play it very, very easily. Jimbo goes for the big chow that he has to. He does go down 1-1 between the Ravens and the Legion.
Yeah, we've seen it kind of off screen, if you like. I pointed out Zero top 3, and he's just locking Paris down. If Paris aren't close at that point, it is free bullets for Zero just to put down. Even if he doesn't find the kills, there's very weak Paris Legion members then coming towards a site where London are going to be. It's a setup we've seen so many times. I don't want to say it's necessarily London that do it all the time, but it is very, very much a one out of the playbook from London. Zero top 3. It's just so hard to now get across to that bomb site if you don't have the members over there. Jimbo tried his best, did find 2, but Needs to maybe find 3 or 4 for that to be winnable for Paris Legion, but it's a big B hit. Everybody's here.
Well, Nasty trying to get him with that aggressive push towards him, though, but he's got Afro backing him up this time. Brings it back to a 3 versus 3. And that will completely stall the Legion out. They can't figure out exactly what to go through as he goes through again, but John wins that one. Brings it back to a 2 versus 2. And now Harry's going to be pushing. John gets left alone. Does have the bomb, and he's going to try and make a play here against Harry, and he finds him down to a 1 versus 1. This has been a bit of a chaotic round for both sides.
I really like that from John. He'll know where Zero is, or have a good idea anyway, because he was over towards the A side. It's just going to be the gunny to try and win the game. He's hit him in the face with the grenade. Stunned up, has to back down. Zero's got him where he wants him. He knows he has to go for this bomb. Trey repositioning. John very, very weak. The gunfight going to go Zero's way. Very, very well played from Zero specifically. That's a 1v1 that doesn't come down to the luck of trying to find each other in the right spot. They know where each other are. They're both in cover. Fortunately for Zero, he's the one with the util. John can do very little from there. I honestly did like the play from John, though, if I'm frank. He knows that Zero's going to be back towards the spawn. He knows that Harry is over towards the B side. Just pushes towards him. Doesn't pick up the bomb. Doesn't give them that indication. Harry can do very little. 1v1 doesn't go his way, absolutely. But London Royal Ravens just about 2-1.
Yeah, a little bit icy there from Zero as well. Just used everything in his arsenal to make sure it wasn't going to go again. So I did think John was going to have it won for a second, but you can't argue against a grenade to the face. Nasty, though, coming under trouble in ticket. And he's going to have to get away. Now you can see it looks like maybe a rotation coming in from London, and it will be, especially with Afro getting that first blood and staying alive.
Stays alive, gets in, and that bomb will be going down. There's your health back, and now for Legion to try and bring this one back. You can see 2 going to be coming through middle. It's going to be up to Jimbo to try and pick them off from street. Hard retake it.
Yeah, not an awful lot of places for the Legion to go. Jimbo's going to try and clean this out. You know, somebody should realistically be around here, but with more of his teammates going down as well. Nasty getting in a great position. Jimbo just running for his life, and shots ricochet around him. And realistically, Legion do not have any sort of hope of getting this one done. Even with Nasty going down, there's just not enough time. I mean, he might jump on the defuse, but surely not. Surely he's not going to be able to get this. Already Afro's going to be here at the same time, like I said. Just off time, and he just guns both of them. Afro ripping them asunder.
Yeah, that's a shame for Legion, because honestly, they did a really good job. Just time not on their side. And honestly, I think a lot of that comes from Nasty finding that gunfight. I think he jumped out of P3 over from top 3 to then get behind the players who had already pushed. So got some really nice timing. But when he finds that kill, he runs fire. Immediately, Parasite, well, we have to get rid of him. So we can't push towards the site. And it just creates that extra bit of, I want to say, being a complete nuisance for the side of Paris. They have to turn around. They have to deal with them. Well played from the side of Nasty. London Royal Ravens looking much better here on Gav S&D. It was a close game against Thieves yesterday, so feeling good about it. 3-1.
I dare something. Temp was our top performer. We kind of highlighted here for Paris, and so far as 0 and 4 on the other side of it. 0, 5 and 2. And you can see them defending the spot side, and Jimbo managed to just take down Harry with that one. And 0 stays alive by 16 health.
Oh, look, mid-map. Trey staying alive because he's waiting. And his little minions trying to make this push. Did they hear that? Did they hear that? Has Afro managed to find a way through? Yes, he has. He has taken a couple of bullets. Can he survive? Not quite. It's going to be a trade. Well, they expect Nasty here, though. They could be lining up.
Could be. He's going to see Gravity as well. Gravity checks it. Huge checking information there for him. Now, Paris Legion can play around that as they try to get through. Zero's going to be trying to bottleneck him the other side, and he does. He's going to get away as well. That's a huge play from Zero, because now Legion are trapped. They know there's a player behind them. They know there's one in front. What they don't know is where exactly they can get out from. They seem to have found it here. Are they going to wrap back to A? They're actually splitting up.
Snake in the grass. There you go, Nasty. Nice and easy. But do they have any idea where Temp is here? I would suggest not.
A little bit curious about that play, I think is the nicest way I can put it. 2 versus 2. And they do get the split up, and Temp, while he gets 0 down in the end, it kind of meant nothing.
I think Temp's maybe concentrating on just getting rid of 0 back there. But I think London's on the fly plays, if you like, were so solid there. The fact that Nasty gets around behind, again, staying alive is sometimes better than just going for a 1-for-1 trade, because Nasty could have probably pushed Jimbo there and found the kill. However, actually, I think it was Gravity, but nonetheless, he could have pushed and found the kill, but used this just to wrap back around and stay alive. So now Paris know there's somebody back there. Let's push through. Zero then says to yourself, right, okay, well, they're probably going to push through because they know where Nasty is. They don't know I'm here locking it down.
Temp going to be looking for this one and isn't going to get it, and now he's in an awful lot of trouble. That will be naded at the same time. He has to back off. London going to be in a great position. And Harry stares down the face of death and still gets away with it. Nothing is going Paris's way. And it's another hard retake for Paris. Can they find any sort of ingress here into the site?
Peekaboo. John trying to find this first kill. Oh my goodness, how on earth is Nasty not dead? Eventually he does fall, but here comes Afro from mid-map. Just trying to be that distraction again, but he's giving his life away. 18 seconds, it's not a lot of time.
It isn't, and Zero is locked in, ready for it, but John calls it perfectly! And now Harry's gonna be left alone. He's looking for the first and the second. He knows they've got to be defusing at the same time. Temp is just gonna cut him down, and that's gonna be enough. What a ridiculous clutch out of Harry. Paris Legion had the bodies, but they did not have the time. And even with John going with that first pick, it has not gone well for Paris.
I'd like to rewatch that back because I feel like that was a bit of a fumble from Paris. They were both
a lot
staring.
of fumbling in this S&D from Paris.
But look, Temp staring him with a sniper. There was like 9 seconds at that time. One of them needs to be on the bomb and one of them needs to be covering, not both going for the gunfight. Miscommunication from Paris there. I mean, I think it was still going to be difficult nonetheless, but hey, you need to have somebody on the bomb at that stage.
I'm not entirely sure what's going on in the Paris camp, but it kind of seems a little bit ill-focused in some of the plays they are making. I don't know whether there was a little bit of miscommunication on a couple of rounds, but it's a long way back now. And Nasty's going to try and capitalize, go straight through with Afro. And John disappears off the map, and Paris finds themselves a man down again.
Paris not at the races here in Berlin today. Much better from London, though. I said there. Kind of making their calls on the go has been sensational so far. Heads up players from the side of London. Zero's just been locking fire down time and time again. Just staying alive here. Presence means a lot. Paris going to try and find this breakthrough. 52 HP for the side of Zero is going to allow that bomb to maybe be planted, but it's a grenade from Afro. Through the front door, Nasty behind as well. This is dangerous, dangerous times for the side of Paris as Harry will find one, can't find the second. Zero's there to back him up. It's a 1 versus 3 for Jimbo to keep them in the game. It's map number 2 over to the London Royal Ravens. Emphatic fashion as well. That was dominant, Brycey.
It was very, very dominant. London looked like they had their game plan written down in stone and knew exactly what they wanted to do as well. I think Zero played a huge factor in that, if I'm being honest. Like, he was just holding his position over and over again, being incredibly annoying. There are several times he managed to get away with it. And after the first round, they went for that front hit, if you can remember. After that, it seemed like London were playing the better S&D and Paris weren't. There are a few things in there that I'm sure will be caught up for a VOD review. Either that, or they've got some sort of special tactics in the bag that we didn't get to see going to fruition.
Well, if they did, I don't know why we didn't see them, to be honest with you, because that was pretty poor from Paris. Honestly, there was a couple of different situations that London, as I said, did play brilliantly, but I think specifically in it would have been the 6th round, that to make it 5-1 to London there. Why are Temp and Gravity both staring at them when there's 9 seconds left on the clock, right? I mean, it's technical, like kind of 1v3 at that stage.
I'm not. That's not the round I'm bothered by.
I mean, there's other issues, but like that's just a glaring
the split up
right?
bothered me more, I think.
Yeah, that's not great either. Especially 2v2 stick together. You're on the attacking team. You can dictate what you want to do in that situation. Why would you not dictate with 2 of you instead of 1 of you? I don't know. Unless, for me, the only reason I would have liked to accept that is if Temp is putting loads of shots down at the Zero, and then like, oh, they're planning over towards B. When obviously they weren't, though. That wasn't the plan. So, I don't know. It was, peculiar search and destroy from Paris Separate.
It was. Well, we'll have to find out who comes out on top of these 2 teams. We're going to go to a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
of Duty League is brought to you by Zenny. Armor your eyes with Block's gaming glasses starting at $24 by visiting zenny.com/CDL. The Call of Duty League is brought to you by Game Fuel. Victory in a can.
This is the scuff play of the game. Harry, the technical 1 versus 3 versus the Legion on Berlin S&D.
Yeah, well, there's the first one, and still, it's very, very difficult to do this. I want to say that Temp was on it.
I think
Is he
somebody
not just
was on
John?
it. Miscommunication, maybe? Nevertheless.
Yeah, I mean, look, Harry still does a great job. But Temp gets killed, irrelevant if he's on it or not. Laughs all around from the side of London. Yeah, like, why is nobody on it? that would have been my question. Look, I think it's still a fantastic play from Harry in those situations. It's still really difficult. 1v3 or not, that amount of time, you could be in a 1v4. You need to find one kill, and you need to get that guy off the bomb. He did that. Fantastic stuff from Harry, nonetheless. A dominant search and destroy from London, resulting in some big, big performances from some of the guys there. Really, really well played. And the kind of bounce back they needed, basically.
It certainly is, and we go back to Berlin for the control. Who eventually is going to take the lead in this series time? That's the real question coming out, because the map records don't look particularly good, obviously. Berlin Control being a pretty new map to the CDL as well means we don't have the most amount of information on these two teams of what they've played so far. As you can see, Afro, the statistics for him already, a 1.04. Is certainly turning to be one of the keys in London Royal Ravens' potential victory over the Legion.
Yeah, nil point when we're talking about this map for either one of these two teams. But yes, I agree. You know, when it does come down to Afro, I'm curious to see how he's going to sort of fit into the squad. You know, his fast pace, is that going to suit with how Harry plays his game as well? That's something that they're going to have to work on. That's something will be worked on, I have no doubt. But yeah, for Paris Legion is going to be A straight away out the gate 0, left alone the sacrificial lamb to get the information. But London Royal Ravens, the flank over from B seems to be the play.
Oh yeah, they're going to try and take control of trade here as well as Afro goes for an ambitious challenge out the doors. It eventually does deal with him, and you can see at the moment Paris are happy to just keep getting those ticks onto A, ready for the slog. So there's that mission towards B.
Zero trying his best over towards the docks to disrupt that. The rest of the team now on their way as well, but losing those gunfights over towards B means you're going to have to relocate some resources for the London Royal Ravens. Back over towards B we go. Harry with the gunny will get rid of Temp. Maybe it's just a consequence of playing defense on this map is that you do lose A. Now it has to be B locked down. Afro are well aware of what's going on here. It's going to be a fire push coming out from Legion.
Well, you can see Jimbo trying to hit this flank as well. At the moment, not really found everybody and is checking every possible corner. Might get caught in the back here as well. And the long flank comes down to nothing. And this is always the story on Berlin Control. If you don't have that train side spawn, it is a long way through. Right now, London are doing everything they can to control it.
Good pinch coming in here from Gravity and John, though. Pick up a little bit of pressure towards the back. Look at the spawn, look at the spawn. My goodness me. He's literally on top of him. Harry gets away with that one, but now Afro is left all alone momentarily with a Paris Legion squad all around him. Surviving as best as he can. Yeah, I love this from Afro. I absolutely love it. We'll find one. The rest of the squad are there anywhere near.
Not quite yet. You can see London are waiting for that flag to come through, and it's going to be Zero. Zero has found a way through to Paris, and now they're going to be panicking as well. John's going to try and stay alive, but there's so many players here from the Ravens. Nasty gets the kill, and there's a fight down back by Afro. And everything the Legion did, it doesn't even get them a tick here on Berlin. It's a huge fight that was just won by Ticket.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. And honestly, I actually love what Afro was doing. I believe he was standing on top of the desk, so the fact that he was in the point didn't register, which I mean, questionable. But nonetheless, I love that kind of play. They don't know he's there. All of a sudden, one of them's been shot in the back, and that maybe just opens the door a tad for them to get inside. Now London Royal Ravens can start to flex their muscles a little bit. They push through Ticket. They're finding the kills. Momentarily, it is only Afro left alive, but Paris Legion is still forced away.
It is a long road now for Paris. They've got a couple of kills going down, but you have to make successive waves here on this map. Anybody who shuts you down only has to make 1 or 2 kills to do so. Now you can see Harry just playing coy in that corner.
Oh my.
And he might have him. He's going to look for the first one, and he looks for the second as well. Jimbo just got him down. But Paris now have to make a move. Afro again going to be in this corner. Finds Jimbo. It's the same situation as last time. And they have shut them down with help from Zero. And Paris Legion really have not been able to break this deadlock at any time. And they'll be everything in a row. clinical shutdown of the defense there by the London Royal Ravens.
Yep, I love that spot from Afro. Very, very well played. Just denies that information, doesn't it? If you start coming in, it's like, oh, it's not contested, and now Afro's shooting you in the face. Brilliant. Paris Legion, I want to say maybe a little bit unfortunate there as well with the push through fire. I think when you push ducks and fire, it kind of doesn't give the defensive side a safe spawn spot, so to speak. I think Harry actually spawned in what would obviously be P3, and that's never great for the side that they tried to push through it. So it was an easy kill for him, and then very well played to defend it from there. But unfortunate for the Paris Legion. Can they hold their defense themselves, though?
Nope.
Oh.
They've already taken a big hit now. This is critical. John has to try and stay alive, and he's going to go down. Only one player left. Gravity has to stem the tide as well, and he's trying desperately, but the Ravens are in. They have numbers here as well, and it's very, very difficult for the Paris to get back into this one, even though they have the flank.
We've got the flank, but the problem is that London are so dug deep. It's so difficult to get them out. They are just all over where Paris Legion want to be to try and get this one back. John will maybe find a little bit of respite for Paris Legion. Can they find a break? They're still trying for it. The flank's coming in.
Well, the kills coming through Ticket as well. They're going to try and break this in the next few seconds. Hopefully they can do something as Gravity flies through 4, and Harry has to reload the pistol. Surely this can't come down to it. Temp eventually gets it, and somehow Harris clean this out before it ticks over. There is light at the end of the tunnel for Paris, but still so much work to do.
The damage is done. It has to be said. It takes one decent push from London over towards B, and it's curtains. John's going to fall over towards fire, so the pressure's going to start coming in. Well, would have been had Nasty got Knocker taken down, but A is well and truly underway here for the London Royal Ravens. 5 life lead. A is gone. 2 minutes for 1 ticket. B doesn't look good for Paris.
No, it certainly does not. Temp gonna try and do something towards Ticket, but they cannot afford to lose even one push here. With only one tick holding them through, they have to be pretty clean. And John managed to get 2. That shuts down London for maybe another 20 seconds before those players can get back in position.
It's going to be difficult, but it's not impossible here for Paris. They can find a couple of players dead, then they can start moving forward. There you go. Next couple of gunfights would have been crucial, but one will go London's way over towards the A side. They may well just push the flank for a fire, which will then allow Legion to then push up towards Ticket. But Zero, look at, I love that. They know that they've got to push over towards fire. Paris, they know they've got to push Ticket, and Zero's chilling at the back of his spawn like, oh, you want to push Ticket, do you? And then here are the rest of my minions in and around your spawn. Zero on the slow flank. London in a good spot.
Afro's in though. It's been contested already. Gonna try and loot that gunfight, and Afro has gone through platform and cut Legion down by himself. This is actually gonna go straight through. He gets them into the window as well, and that was the issue. Just 1 tick remaining means you cannot crack even slightly. And Afro broke that defense wide open. He won a gunfight on plat he shouldn't have made, came back in and gun Jimbo, and then somehow made that 3rd kill. And the Legion were lost.
I mean, yeah, give the plaudits to Afro, but I seriously want to just tip my hat to Zero. It just feels like anytime you're watching London doing something, he is in the crucial position at all times, and he's just like, right, send it to the rest of the boys, and it works. But he makes it work for all them as well. That play over towards the back of his spawn, so switched on from Zero. Big A push going to come in here for Paris Legion. They need 3 rounds in a row. Afro on a 5 spree, can't have 2 more. Those Legion are going to be in even a stickier spot here.
Well, they certainly are, and I'll tell you something. Let's find out how the London Royal Ravens are feeling with a listen in.
Make sure you have the right, yeah?
No, I need help. He's up on the right, bro. Have a sub. So I need help.
Fuck.
I'll come, Byron. I'll come. Pick up mid. Gravity, we back sub for me. One sandwich on me. I'll pitch this, bro. I'm pitching this, bro.
Wait, still P5, Jimbo.
Jimbo,
nice, let's do.
Sandbags and A, last 2. Sandbags and A. I got the cross, guys. I got the cross. They're spawning bricks. I got one. I've got streaks. Listen, one's going front P2. Make sure you don't die, Trey. One shot bar left. He's absolutely.
No, it's third.
Pick up P4 already.
No,
I'll push ticket. Hit me quick. When do you wrap out? Go.
Keep ticket.
I have your ticket again. Get time. I'll get you out. I have your ticket again. I have your cubby as well. I'm gonna push P5 then. Get from time. Watch pinch from time, okay?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, I have P5. If I'm not, come push P5. You need to let me know if you need help.
I think they're gonna be.
Yeah, it was P5. Close. We haven't got Cubby. Have you got Cubby, Harry?
Yeah, Cubby, John, little bit weak. He's gonna run out of dubs. I have to leave it.
He's gone P5.
Oh, he's back P4. He's gone top C. Top C. Top C. Top C. They're missing one.
I'll kill him.
P4's up. Yo, I think you're getting punched. Where did you spawn? I spawned street.
Yeah, oh, absolute.
He's in that. He's in fire. Yeah, he's in fire. He's lying down on the fire tank.
Where's he shooting? Where's that guy?
He was
He's cat. I'm dead.
There's a guy in his cat.
Just stack kill. I've got out of the door. All you have to watch his front.
Stop, help me. One shot.
John weak, John dead.
Dubs.
He came through cat.
He shall be. Plants. You missed dubs again, I think.
I see him.
Hey, he's close outside, close left. He's telling you guys flags. How do you guys flags?
I'm behind. Wait.
Well, the comms are getting a little bit fast and frantic there from the London Royal Ravens as Paris have broke into B. And they are getting straight into this one off the back of a Gravity 5-kill spree. And that's done, Ton.
Yeah, that was... I don't know, like London, I said, they sounded frantic. They didn't sound like a team who was 2-0 up in the control. Things go very, very mixy very, very quickly.
I'll tell you something. I was going to point this out. The difference between comms when the enemy team is capturing A and the enemy team is pushing on B are very, very different. When they're at A, it's calm, it's collected, you're just looking for the kills. When they're close to B, you are desperately trying to shut them down, and they weren't able to do it. The Legion break through, and now they have a defense. By the way, Gravity and Jimbo, 6 streak and a 5 streak. They found something here, but are they ready for this hit? Because here come the London Royal Ravens. They're in force at B, and there are not enough Legion players here.
The flank could be coming in here, though. Look at John. He's going to be making the pressure through mid-map. Jimbo's done well just to turn around and stay alive. London know they have to pick them apart to find a way in. London very slow about this, though. It's given time for Paris to maybe find some reinforcements, but has it given time for London to set themselves up? Jimbo will find another. It's one more for the glide. Can he manage to find it? Zero will find him around the outside. The cleanup crew are here, though. London will have to limp away with their tail between their legs momentarily. Look at the shots coming in from Gravity as well, though. He's one off the glide also.
Desperately trying to get this kill here, Gravity. 20 and 12 at the moment, but wants that streak. Zero's playing around it to try and catch him. If Zero moves the wrong way, they have him, but he hasn't at the moment. His teammates keep getting all the kills. London have had to settle for A. You are right. Very interesting push from the beginning there, Tan. They went straight towards B in numbers. Obviously, we have the benefit of the minimap. We know Legion wasn't there and enough players that could have stemmed the tide.
And I think what London are doing in that situation, probably noticing that there's not many of them there, and then waiting for the push to come, but the push came, and they lost the gunfights. They may well lose these ones as well. John, Gravity, both combining well. It's trades going back and forth. John, now can he find a kill up top? Yes, he can. Not before Nasty found 2 and London found A. So a minute and a half to find this push over towards B. Paris Legion found that attacking round, though. You hold this defense, you force a round number 5.
And this is the danger. They are forcing their way through fire. They are slowly but surely willing down Paris Legion until they can get a few kills through. And now they'll look to cut off those reinforcements. Turn the tap of anyone who comes through. It's Afro again to the platform. Nasty's now going to be in the hill, and you can see the only player out here for them is going to be John. He has to do something to allow his teammates to get in a better position.
He's so instrumental! Oh, friendly fire indeed. I mean, it works out all right in the end. They have managed to get control back, but that is terrible timing.
Yeah, that could have been the way that Paris lost this game, but fortunately, all's well that ends well. Afro, though, at the moment, going to be trying to make a bigger push in towards B by himself. Reinforcements slowly trickling in for them. It only is going to take one big push from London if they can do it. Afro going to be waiting for it, finds Jimbo, and there's another kill coming in from Zero. Jumps into the point to stop that clock.
It's huge.
Staying alive as Harry goes forward, and realistically, only Gravity can do anything here as they get into that choke point, and they are in trouble. Paris Legion are now going to be struggling to get back into this one. London has got too many players come through, and Nasty's going to be on the flank as well, and he's going to try and shut them down. Temp takes him down, but is it going to be enough? That second tick is in. Harry guns one who comes through the front door, and the Legion have to get here somehow as Temp jumps through the window and dies as well. Harry just guns them down to fun, and that tick is gone. And London Royal Ravens execute on the control, and they go up 2-1 in the series, Ton.
Just brilliantly played, to be honest with you, once again. Afro gets himself in that spot, staying alive. Nobody else is kind of left when that initial attack starts coming through. Finds one kill, they clean out Ticket, and then all of a sudden, all the Paris Legion are coming through the front door. The reinforcements arrive. Those reinforcements have got an automaton, which, by the way, has 30 bullets now. laying that core fire down. Good luck getting Nasty, Harry, and Co off those positions. London 3-1, very much a bounce back here in this series. It was a very lackluster map number 1, but they have been lights out since. 2-1 in the series now. And in these last 2 maps, Pricey, they've been comfortable.
Well, I feel like I have to walk back at one of my statements I said at the very beginning here for just a few minutes. I said I don't know exactly what London Royal Ravens were going to see today. I expect them to take a little while to kind of bed in, but here's the truth of it. The last 2 maps, the London Royal Ravens have looked like more of a team than the Paris Legion.
100%. And, you know, with the desk question, Ali said absolutely correctly that, yeah, okay, these individual players are here for London still. That's never going to go anywhere. But the teamwork didn't seem there. It seemed one by one. They have looked like a well-oiled machine at times here today, though. I've loved some of the players coming out. And that just shows that they may be working on it. Things just haven't necessarily clicked. I will go with the caveat that, yes, I think Thieves and Paris are very different levels of squad at the moment. Paris are absolutely getting better, but so have Thieves. Let's not get it twisted. London were relatively close to Thieves yesterday and not playing that great. They're playing a lot better here now, outside of map number 1, which was not very good. They will have to work on that hard point. They have looked so much better in these last 2 maps. Search and Destroy was nearly flawless. The Control was alongside it as well. A great 2 maps out of the London Royal Ravens, setting themselves up for a Tuscan hardpoint, which they are going to have to be better in than they were in Gavutu, don't get me wrong. But that is a lot better from the London Royal Ravens. A couple of misplays from Paris, you would say, in the Search and Destroy. But that Control was very, very well played.
Yeah, I think Afro, for me, was a particular highlight, realistically. He got in the right positions, he made the right plays, and he won the gunfights he needed to. And it's very difficult when you've got a player that keeps 1 or 2 piecing in crucial areas. You don't really expect it. Like, you expect the trade to come through. Afro just doesn't care. Goes in, takes down a couple of players, and you're like, oh, we had control and we've completely lost it around it. First of all, how has he got there? And nobody's realized that he could potentially have made a play towards the back of B. And the second thing is, how does he then win 2 gunfights? Shouldn't have been allowed, and it broke the Legion. Because once you start losing players and you don't have the ability to retake it, your options are limited. You can try and go through fire. London had it locked down. You can try and run through the choke point, but you know there's going to be a 30 mag auto sitting there ready and waiting. And that's what happened.
Yeah, really, really well played by London. Afro, as said, he is that enigmatic player who can find these breaks. But looking over towards the top performers in hardpoint so far, Harry may not have had the hugest of sample sizes to find these stats, but a 1.05 from him with a decent damage per life. Love to see that from him. And I feel as if London would have wanted to put him in a comfortable situation to try and get things rolling. They wouldn't have been like, right, okay, we need you to play completely different to how you usually do. They will probably be trying to mold themselves around Harry at the moment and then kind of expand from there as time goes on. And so far, so good for Harry. 1.05 in your first week. The CDL, not a bad shout. Pro-Am, yeah, okay. You allowed that to kind of settle in a little bit, but since then, he's been very, very solid on the kill-to-death ratio department, at least anyway. And we kind of had the conversation about him as well. We were a little bit worried about this London team with the kind of switch up that it is. Harry relatively slow in comparison to Gizmo. But so far, honestly, from what I've seen from him, he hasn't looked particularly slow. I feel like, you know, he's being aggressive with it. Is it quite as quick as what Gizmo plays? It's an adjustment, but that's for the rest of the team to have to make as well, though. That's the thing. We know that pacing kind of has to be on the same level. The rest of the team kind of need to adjust to what Harry is doing.
I've heard nothing but good things about Harry. The only concern we had about him in this roster is that him and Gizmo are not the same player, and they could slot in with a little bit of a mismatch. We even heard about the role potential switch with Trey maybe running a sub or something they experimented with to figure out if they can make it work. What is working for them right now, though, is Harry is just very, very good, right? That's the best part about this. If a player is good in winning the gunfights, then you can get over that little bit of a hump where you're trying to gel with your team. The difference now coming into this one is London will be feeling themselves. They have just gone through 2 very comfortable maps. The S&D and the Control were great. They only just lost out on the hard point in the first map. The statistics also favor them as well, Tom.
Yeah, absolutely. They will be feeling themselves, and rightfully so, to point out Harry is a very good player. I think a lot of people will look to Gizmo. Gizmo at the beginning of the year was a surprise of how well he adapted straight away. But Harry's a player who, I mean, last year kind of probably dealt with Gizmo for the most part. Let's not get it wrong. It was the team that Harry was in that went on to go on to win the whole thing towards the end on the challenger side of things. So Harry is not a bad player. He's not a bad sub to have on the squad. He's performing quite well so far. Let's see how as time goes on, he adapts in this one. But London Royal Ravens looking for 3 maps in a row here to finish off the Paris Legion. Can they do it here on Tuscan?
At the moment, straight into this hard point, straight to begin with. Harry pushing up as well, and Gravity is just going to get caught. The slide cancel into the perfect centering, takes them down. And now the Legion are looking for a way out of back church, but they can't find it because Afro's standing in their way.
I mean, they've managed to find, what, 2 kills so far. This is not looking good for the Legion. It's not the kind of start that you want, but it's a big hit outside of church. A little bit more control now, settle the nerves, get a couple of gunfights to go your way. 30 seconds in, the 33 points down. It's not the best of starts. This has been flawless from London.
It has. John going to be looking to try and control that P5 tap that's about to overflow. Is he going to be in position at a time as well? No, Zero is there, ready, pre-aimed and waiting. And now here comes the London Legion. Sorry, the London Legion, the London Royal Ravens. Smashed together the 2 franchises there. Attempts going to try and send the tide as well. Finds 2 at the same time and gets out of there. Eventually we'll go down to Afro, who's the only player left alive from London. And Afro finds a 2-piece as well. Almost finds the 3rd with an ambitious challenge on the John.
I'd have been sick if he pulled that off. John's done really well inside the point, though, to slight rebuttal for the side of London Royal Ravens now. They can't find themselves inside the point. Paris Legion doing well to keep London out, but momentarily weren't getting many points themselves. Afro dives headfirst into it. Does he have the rest of his squad here to help him out? He does not. Goes for the contest, and you need the rest of the team to then maybe sit back a little bit, try and find those gunfights as Paris start to scramble. But the only team that's scrambling right now, the London Royal Ravens, as Paris will pick up a good amount of time. These rotations over towards P3. John wanted to try and get through scot-free there. But I tell you what, Paris are here in numbers.
They certainly are. And bearing in mind, I actually want to highlight something I heard about, and I completely forgot until this moment. It's telling me about Zero actually might be running the sub on this map. We talked about the role change before, potentially for him. We'll keep an eye out for it, because I've seen Zero do it a couple of times already, and that may be the only time he actually changes in this game.
Let's see how he runs with it, then. We know he can do it. I mean, Trey came up as an SMG, right? I mean, twisting that completely. He definitely was, I think, in his primary years, starting to see that. I mean, look, the guy's got the gun. He'll be fine. But Paris Legion found a couple of kills here. Can London hold on? Zero from behind, the SMG in hand. Oh, he's still got the gunny. Finds 2, but the rest of the squad there to help him clean up. Harry will find 1. Spawn towards tiles though for Paris Legion. Can they find a way in?
It's Tuscan P3. It's going to be a little bit mixy all the way through. Nasty going to be looking for this player to come through, but he has back up there. Harry's at the same time. And that scrap time should go towards them, as even with one last challenge from Jimbo, Harry wins it. We're off to the races for this as Zero gets gunned down by John on the back.
Yeah, that was nearly really huge from Zero. If he finds 2 towards the rear side of church, you're laughing if you're London Royal Ravens fans that they will pick up 20 seconds of free scrap time. That's at the sacrifice of Paris potentially being set up here inside the church. Zero up top, waiting for the rest of his squad to make their move around the outside. It's going to be shock and awe down this left-hand side.
Oh, I can see why Harry's running the AR for this. 12 and 5 at the moment on a 6 streak. Potentially going to be playing for that glide bomb, waiting for somebody to peek him here at the corner. Just can't find it as well. Eventually taken down by Gravity. Huge kill for them. The Paris Legion continue to hold on to church. They will not let London break them at all. And Temp is already pushing out towards middle.
Really well played from the side of Legion. London really were taking their time, but Paris just counteracted with some aggression of their own. Zero not quite able to hit the window there, and Nasty finds Harry as well. Not the best push from London whatsoever. And for what felt like a pretty dominant game so far, Paris Legion have kind of kept themselves in this, and they'll be very close to going in the lead as we head over towards P5. London are going to be the first ones there, but that's a couple of perfect holds being exchanged between these 2 squads, and that's why we are tied up at 88 all together. 5th hill, though, looking good here for the side of Ravens there. Dug in deep.
Yeah, they spread out both sides as well. There's something we usually see LAT do and do it fantastically. They're going to be looking for it as well. However, they've lost a couple of kills. That pinch is coming through now. Zero desperately going to try and hold on to it as well. Harry making some kills, and that has stopped Paris in their tracks. They thought they had the pinch. They won the first 2 kills, but lose everything else.
Ridiculous gunfights from Harry. I'd love to see them back because he's just basically held it down on his own. He's still alive in stairs, and they just cannot get rid of him. Now has a little bit of backup coming here in the form of Nasty. Harry eventually does fall to Temp. The shot's going to come in from Nasty, though. Is he going to be able to lock much down? Not looking likely. Looking like it's going to be a pretty even split on the hill here. Zero trying his best to disrupt this scrap time, and this rotation needs to be good. Yeah, it's actually only Afro who's left momentarily. His teammate's spawning over towards tiles. Maybe able to help him out in a second, but Afro somehow still surviving.
Oh, this is where it comes back towards it. We go all the way around into our second rotation ton. It's dead even at the moment. Paris Legion are slowly but surely pulling further into the lead. How are London going to counteract this? And it looks like a big push through radio. Zero's going all the way through into Church to look for this, while the pinch comes in for his teammates.
That's a good grenade as well. John or Jimbo should be dead, and that just breaks it wide open. Very well played from the London Royal Ravens. It's a great retake. I like the question why Afro was on his own on that initial rotation for that amount of time. Nonetheless, they will take it back. Paris are going to have to back on down. Paris with a very slight lead. That may well be gone momentarily. Really good shots here coming in from John. Backs on down and thinking about P2, which London Royal Ravens have already got locked in. So it's the front door for Paris Legion over towards P1. They want the scrap time.
Going to push through, but that God ahead, he's going to be there eventually. They do manage to take it away. 7 seconds for Paris Legion, but this is the rotation at the moment. John needs to hold fast. Nobody here to try and do anything for. Right now, he's holding open P5 for his teammates to come through. They have a little bit of radio control as well. John's going to go through against Afro, and Afro shuts him down before they can do anything and looks for him. That is ambitious from Afro. Jimbo shuts him down as well, and now Zero trying to stem the tide of Paris comes through, and he does exactly that. And at the moment, the London Royal Ravens are just dancing around this point, trying to make sure Paris can't get near it.
Yeah, they haven't been able to pick up a lot of time themselves, though, to be honest with you. Paris has done a great job of disrupting them, and where's the spawn's going to come in here for London, though? Kill's being traded. It's going to be towards grass side, and if you're London, do you maybe lick your wounds here and move away, or do you go for this scrap time? It's like the ladder. Push is going to start coming on through. Nasty and Co, can they find these gunfights? Looking like they can. It's only Gravity left alive. That's 13 seconds. Going to go over to London. Paris have got a good opportunity to set up here. Temp is pushed so far up the map. My worry for them here is that time is going to tick in over towards the point. Oh, London potentially not going to spawn over towards tiles. No, Paris still got the spawn there.
See how far they've pushed out at the moment. There you go. There's P5 open back up. And there's a kill towards the middle as well. This can be difficult for Paris to hold on to. The spawn is out by Church. They are a long way away from reinforcements coming in. And Zero finds John at the back, but not good enough. Paris Legion just win the gunfights. All the positioning in the world, it's not going to matter if you cannot find the kills.
Oh, Afro flying through, though, and Jimbo's going to be dealt with. Here's the rest of London now coming flying on through. John inside the point is going to be a nuisance to try and get rid of, but where's the rest of London? Is that the bait to try and find these engagements? Well held from Paris Legion. Temp and Gravity at the back. The autos are up, and London are down. 20 seconds remaining here. Church setup was so successful for Legion last time around. It was every single point that they managed to get a hold of. Can London do the same here to get themselves back into this game?
Well, you can see a big kill already coming from Zero onto John, trying to lock it. Temp's going to be looking towards the back here. There are 2 players going to be through as well, but it's Harry again.
Oh my
God. A 2-piece shuts it down. They were not expecting it, and now Paris are miles away. And Harry's ready. Look at this. Harry on a heady. Gets another 2 kills in the bag. Who else is challenging? Gravity is going to hit him with a nade. I suppose if you can't win a gunfight, that'll do.
Zero in a perfect position to just to pinch here. If he gets no information through mid-map, he's just going to start flanking immediately to help his team out. There's a little bit of info with the kill to come on through as well. Now Nasty and Co need to hold the back. Zero will start pushing. Harry is already waiting. There's 2 more as well. It's been a wonderful hold from London. Just as good as Paris did to lock it down themselves. It's momentarily 1 versus 1 towards the back, though. Afro goes sliding out. London's still here, but so are Paris.
Paris won this. They know how well they did on it last time as well. Keep an eye, though. Both of these 2 teams will be looking, eyeing up that P5 rotation as they just slug it out in this hard point. As Temp eventually guns his way through for the scrap time. But scrap time is great. The rotation may be better. Harry's already here. Looks for John at the same time, has to back off. Needs somebody to help him trade these ones out. Nades and stuns flying through onto him at the same time. Paris trying to get through, but Harry finds the first. John trying to challenge. He does get back into here now. Both sides have a toehold in this hill ton.
Yeah, they're just about nobody able to quite get that control that they need to pick up some decent points. It's just trades across the board. London's still the ones really in a bit of control. It's a tile spawn for London. Temp ready and waiting. 1 and 2 for Temp. Nicely done. Can the rest of the team find a breakthrough? As Afro and Harry try to find it themselves. It's 2 for Jimbo. It's a great break for Paris. 25 seconds remaining here over towards P5. London might just cut their losses here after this push, and they might just rotate to P1.
I think they're going to have to, however. The few players were trying to make this push here at the same time, and Harry's going to try and fight for scrap time here against 2 of the Paris Legion. Not going to be able to find it. We are off to the races. It's back to P1. Legion, if they can break this, can win it here.
Momentary pause, but you don't count on this coming in from Temp. That 7 spree comes in with the gunny onto 0. An easy kill and a nasty. Will the rest of the team be here to pick up the pieces? Yes, they are. 3 kills fall their way. Afro then falls as well. Paris Legion control. Paris Legion pushing the spawns out. It's 10 in a row for Temp. And Paris have just rotated so well over towards P1 the last 2 times around. And as you said, Pricey, they can close it out right here and right now.
It's the last chance. London have to go and they have to win these gunfights. Gravity wins one. Afro, they're trying to do something for Nero gets one as well. And so does Nasty. And they've ripped that away from Paris. Paris had it. They had the bodies. And 9 seconds left to go. But London have taken this away. And now Paris suffer with a choice. Try to push up and get some map control or desperately try to hold these spawns. And 0 is desperately trying to get through at the same time. Temp is here. Surely he's not going to try and win this off this one. I don't think he has the tick for it. He's going to go down. But London have to make their way across the map now. There is seconds on the clock for them. They have to win every single gunfight to make sure. And 0 flies in. There's not going to be enough Harry coming through at the same time. Is he going to slide? He does, but Temp's there watching over. And the pre-fire comes through. And Paris Legion win the second hard point in this one. And it comes down to a game of inches and not miles. Temp goes ham on a 10 spree. And it changes the flow.
Huge players from Temp. Those 10 kills are massive, but what's even better is just getting a hold of that glide bomb to send it in and to shatter the hold from London. It's so hard to do anything about that. When you then have Nasty fall, immediately you can be pinched from both sides. He's got a good block from that middle block. And it's just easy for Paris to then pick them apart, and then Temp just continues. 31 in 24 out of him. A phenomenal game from both these squads. And again, it felt like London were getting rotations, but not necessarily getting the most out of it. When Paris would win a rotation, they would be efficient with it. And they would pick up a solid amount of time every time. It felt like London were kind of feeding on scraps all the way through. Setup's not quite there with the new 4th coming on through, and ultimately we will face a Bakage Search and Destroy to decide this one, which is being quite a strange one, hasn't it? It's been close hard points and one-sided games for London. If that Search and Destroy goes the same way as map number 2 did, then of course Paris are going to struggle. But Bakage Search and Destroy, a very different map here, boys.
It certainly is. We'll have to find out how this thrilling series ends. Before we do that, we're going to a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. The conclusion of Paris versus London coming up right after this.
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by Mountain Dew. Upgrade your game with a Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Call of Duty League. We are going to show you some delightful TEB highlights. We ended up going on a big 10 streak to end that game and was gunning most of the way through.
Oh man, I mean just the rotation from P5 to P1. He locked it down in so many different ways. These are the kills that pretty much solidify it. And solidify P1 for Paris Legion, puts them in a really good spot to then close out the game, and they do so. Huge moments coming out from Temp to force that map number 5, and Paris really do need this more than London. And let's see if we can find something on Bocage. As said, that Search and Destroy in map number 2 was, I want to say, like quite abysmal, if anything, from Paris. And the problem is, it was very much fundamentals that they were slipping up on. It was communication wasn't there. But we know Call of Duty and know what it's like. It's very much a momentum-based game. If the team are flowing, it makes it so much more difficult, I should say, for the other squad. So let's see what they can do, because it's very, very different to Bill. And of course, they could just, send it straight down mid-map every round and see what happens. You never know. But the fundamentals weren't really there as a squad for Paris in map number 2. I'm going to need them to switch it up really, really fast if they want a chance here in map number 5.
Yeah. Have to find out if there is life in the Legion, whether the Royal Ravens can rebound from that hard point. At the moment, the statistics say it's all about London. The statistics be damned. Here are those for Gravity, though. 1.19 so far in this game. They're going to need every bit of that for this S&D ton.
Yeah, absolutely. Gonna have to deal with this man likely lingering up top grandma's or in kitchen. He's going to be a pain. Afro, the one who will possibly do the damage here, but you got to get past the ARs as well alongside of that. And here we go. Map 5 records. London flawless so far. That's a good stat to have for them. Afro and Cole will now make their push over towards it. Paris do have Temp towards the back, though. He'll be looking to deter that as best as he can.
At the moment, they'll be looking for this push. Afro will be the front man for them. May try and get into grannies here. If he needs to. Will probably not be taking that fight back tank if he has to with an MP40. Nasty backing him up. Dasy's going to go onto the bomb side as well, get behind it as well, and Afro has got into grannies. John's going to try and challenge here, and he cannot see the tiniest amount of him, somehow he gets away! And he eventually does get the kill, but Afro's going to be here to pick it up at the same time, and the London Royal Ravens now have the bomb down and numbers. And Temp's left alone in a 1 versus 3.
Yeah, he played well last map. This will be something else, if you can pull this one off as well. And the thing there, that bomb going down just makes this so much more difficult. Paris have to kick into action at that stage, and Temp, I said, always going to struggle in that situation. Good way for London to kick off map number 5.
Yeah, flawless. Clearly something they've practiced very, very efficiently. You can see them setting up for it. Nasty. Pretty much, I will point this out, not as easy as people think it is. Perfect slide onto the bomb without exposing yourself from any angle. Not always the easiest thing to do. It's quite easy to slide past or slide shallow, and then you end up paying the price, but he doesn't do any of those and almost gets out as well after planting the bomb.
John gets there like a split second sooner. Could have been a very different round. Paris now with a kind of neutral setup. It is kind of one of their go-tos when it does come down to search and destroy. Push up the map, wait for the picks.
Patience is key here for both teams. Legion to execute whatever game plan they have for this situation. London to just keep waiting. Information still trying to be figured out by both teams. Afro looking through the tiniest piece of wood there to give him any indicator. So Legion are eventually going to settle on this, but Zero gets the first blood against Gravity. And now the Legion are down a man.
It's over towards the riverside. It's running around the Rosie. Afro will eventually find one. So 3 versus 2. What's the play here for Legion? A little bit of Grandma's control wouldn't go amiss, or is it a rotation over towards B? It's such a hard map to try and get a little bit of control. They need to get rid of somebody on the side of the London Royal Ravens within the next 25 seconds. Harry ready and waiting. Give him the second as well. It's easy gunfights from Harry from there. Very, very well played. London patient after finding those initial kills, and a really well worked round once more. It just looked like such a better search team.
Yeah, and I think, you know, obviously John went for that challenge just because he had to, right? Time running out. He probably knew there's going to be a player back there. If they win it, opens it up a bit. Jimbo trying to go for the trade, but it's a very difficult gunfight when people are on that back tank, especially when they don't miss like Harry isn't. Yeah, basically you have to hope you can just hit some nice headshots and take them down before they really snap onto you.
See a little bit more from Paris here. They were expecting a big commit coming in from Ravens. Heavy control over towards Grandma's bottom and top. Very much occupied by the Paris Legion right now. Neutral start to the round for Ravens, looking for a pick.
Moment. London Royal Ravens are actually stacked a little bit more towards B. They would have to get a kill here. They know after Gravity's been thrown out, he's at least going to be around L. One to the head. But a single nade isn't going to do enough. And Afro makes that first blood inside, and that does mean London can rotate.
Yep, straight onto the bomb. John doesn't have an angle, doesn't have the utility. That bomb is down. It's a 4v3 retake. Gonna have to come in here for the Paris Legion at their deficit. Afro, not inside of Grandma's anymore, though, but will they know that? Having to clear it out, having to cover all their bases. Captain Price said, check your corners.
He's seen Gravity go through, and Harry puts a few bullets into him and backs off to him, but managed to find a kill, though. And Legion are now trying to take map control away so they can push London out and get this defused, but it's going to be Afro all the way around the back, left alone. Says, thank you very much. There's a player up top. Says, I'm not even going to challenge. I'll let my teammates deal with you, buddy. And so far, a flawless run for London. 3-0.
And Afro just kind of playing the insurance card there. Sitting up top, Grandma's, they don't come to check it. And he's got a very, very easy flank over towards the bombers. Paris found a little bit of control there in the min-map, but ultimately, it's always really hard to retake if you haven't cleared Grandma's out fully. I mean, you might have, and they might have just, you know, ran around at the wrong time. You need perfect timing. You need to make sure everything is cleared. Such a hard retake when that bomb goes down. 4 in a row for Harry here as well. 4-0. Afro sitting to 5-1. Absolute menaces, and while Paris just fight fire with fire, Harry ready and waiting. It's already a 4v3.
Never see Harry actually lose any of those gunfights. Like, nobody gets a snap on him.
No, never.
He ends up winning whenever he's got that pre-aim locked in. Now Afro is just running around like a lunatic, looking, hunting for anybody who dares cross his path. John trying to get some Grandma's control as well. I think he knows where Nasty is. They're both looking at this same angle.
Oh, the gunfight for John. Oh, that is tough. That's so rough. London Royal Ravens just having their way, well, momentarily, with the side of Paris Legion, but Gravity out of nowhere. 2-piece, 1v2.
Probably a 1v4 if he makes it, Ton. He has to find them. He's going to see Zero at the same time, but no utility, and Zero's going to go down. He's cut his foot off with the auto, and he knows where Nasty is. It's going to be a chow. It's a huge chow here at the end. Nasty doesn't have to take this gunfight. And now Gravity has to chase him down. Bomb will be down on A platform. He's trying to figure it out, and unfortunately, he's called it wrong.
Not going to work out for Gravity here.
1v4. It ends with a whimper and not a bang.
Uh-oh.
Wait a minute. Oh.
Good effort. Very good effort.
And there was a little bit of sweat, probably just beading the brow of London there. Gravity finds some magic. Zero gets his foot cut off, and that could have been it. Nasty went for a chow. It's like, yeah, all right, I'll have a go.
What's that? You want a 1v4? I know, but those are the moments, though, and this is for professional players, but, like, you already killed 3 of them. You not a little bit nervous? you want to get that last one so badly. Oh. Nobody remembers a 1v4 fumble. Everyone remembers a 1v4.
Harry, head over the top. That'll be for information on anyone towards the back tank. Nothing at the moment. However, first blood, though, will be answered straight back into a 3 versus 3. Nasty going to get taken down by John, who's got a 2 picks here, and stays alive, even with Harry chasing him. Advantage to Paris. Has gone.
And honestly, I just want to kind of go back to what you said about Harry, that he never seems to lose those gunfights. He's not a massively flashy player. I mean, that was one that Zero probably should have won. Temp gets away with it. He's not a massively flashy player, but he's very, very solid. And can he find this 1v2 to put London 5-0 up? Did Temp spot him?
Yeah, it's going to be a double challenge. He's John Nero at the same time. Harry wants to make both of these gunfights. He doesn't really have time to do it. They're going to just keep shouldering. However, he's taking down Temp. John's last alive, and I think Harry knows where he is. Got to go for the kill. Looking for him. A little bit of timing. No. Choosing to just go all the way around, and the timing is not going to pay out for Harry. Paris Legion have this one. They do have this one. I was just making sure he didn't do something crazy like try and chow. The Legion have it. You can see a little bit of a breathing out from the squad. It's tense.
Paris win the round, right? Well, I don't really get what the chal is onto Harry there. Do you need to go for that there when you neither? Well, it's a tough one. I just think that sort of situation, just shoulder, just continue to shoulder. Took the gunfight. They win the round, yes, but could have been cleaner.
Yeah, Temp's not been having the greatest time on S&D, by the way. Like, that was his first kill last round. He didn't have a great time last time either. His only kill from the last S&D came on 0, and that 2-2 split that we saw. Did Afro see him? He must have seen him, but he isn't moving. He is now. Easy kill for Afro. In the end, the patience plays off. Paris Legion find themselves down a man again.
It's always been the case, hasn't it? A lot of these first bloods being gone over to the side of London. Never so slight lead in the statistics when it does come down to Bacage for London and Paris. Do not find many of them. And the problem is when it comes down to Bacage Search and Destroy, those 3v4 win percentages are not very high at all. 26 and 25% respectively, 26 being for London. So those first bloods have been very, very important. Paris have not found many of them at all. And it's now Temp in a 1 versus 4. He's dead. London, match point.
Is this going to go the same way as the last S&D? It was 6-1 last time. It's now 5-1 on Bacage. And Paris just cannot get anything going. It does seem like their executes just aren't as well rehearsed. London, we've seen them do that A hit several times and perfectly positioned there to get onto the bomb site, make sure they check the right things. When Legion do it, it seems a bit more disjointed.
Again, I said those first bloods are just hard to find, though, aren't they? I mean, you can be as well jointed as you like. Maybe not the word, but if you can't find first bloods, it just makes things so much more difficult on this map. There you go. There's one of them. 4v3 now for Paris. Can they make this advantage count this time?
Should be able to. They're looking for a little bit of revenge towards mid-map. He hasn't found anything. Legion are laying back for this, and I quite like this play. They're being very, very patient and making London come into them. There's Afro. Brings it back to a 3 versus 3.
Playing around it, Afro goes for the re-challenge, and Gravity is ready and waiting. A lot of work to do here for London.
Man of the moment, Harry, currently 9-1. You see Temp up top as well, and Temp does win the gunfight. They're going to be looking at the player up here. Jimbo goes for the chow. It's now 0-1 versus 3. Now 1 versus 2, but time is against him. This should be Paris's in the bag.
It's never going to work there. Gravity always just going to shoulder that gunfight. No need to over-challenge that one himself. And Temp go in for the challenge. Job done there for Paris. That said, when it comes down to those first bloods, you can convert them the majority of the time into a round here. Paris got that done. They just need to do it 4 more times in a row here, Bryce. That's the problem.
That first part does pay out for them. A couple more of those. We could be seeing it'll go all the way. Where do Paris go here on this attack? Gravity just double checking. But it was, but Zero's laying down the other map, and Gravity gets away by the seat of his pants, and barely is the name of the game. That could have been a first blood. They lose again.
4 HP is what he gets out with. That's not even a full automating bullet, that one. That's a slight breeze and he would have died. Here we go, though. London Royal Ravens still set up. Paris Legion yet to really make a move here. Oh, a little bit tentative, but that grenade onto Zero might just live a little pressure up over towards B. Oh, Paris now could be able to make a push here. They made a step further up towards this middle of the map, but they need to find a pick yet.
John May pushing to Nasty. Nasty is holding that pre-aim about as hard as you can. John and Jimbo are going to maybe double chow this. You can see them lining up for it as well. Jimbo just get one. Nasty gets it back. Down to a 3 versus 3 now. Paris do not have an awful lot of time left on the clock. They've used this to try to get into position. Who is that who slit the net? It's John.
Why, you got the bomb there?
Afro finds a 2-piece, and that ends Paris Legion's hopes and dreams. He makes an ambitious push. He gets punished for it. And the London Royal Ravens walk away here 3-2 in this series, doing it in 2-3-5.
Search and destroy, very much the strong point for the Royal Ravens, but as we stated throughout, it was kind of sloppy from Paris on multiple occasions. Not able to find the first bloods, not able to find the rounds, not able to find the dub. 3-2 to the Royal Ravens. Very, very shaky hard points from them, though. For all that we have criticized Paris on their search and destroys, the hard points from London Royal Ravens just not there. It is the control that makes the difference this time around.
Yeah,
very well played. Yeah, I mean, Ravens were fantastic on that one.
Afro just finding first bloods, just being an absolute nuisance wherever they put him, and Harry,
to be fair, those
hard locked in,
are completely even. So I was just talking absolute rubbish. Never mind. But they didn't convert them in anything, so I don't know if that's worse.
Well, I'll tell you something. As we go through the highlights, we're going to see an awful lot of the London Royal Ravens dirt, because they said that's a 2-piece there for Harry, made to look effortless. And I don't know what to say other than some VOD reviews will probably have to go for Paris Legion. They didn't seem to be able to execute as well as London. They didn't seem able to hold any advantage as well as London. London are the better S&D team. There is no doubt in anyone's mind now. Also, there were some vicious challenges towards the end, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of say for John making the movement over towards the back, but they kind of needed to do something. That was the problem for Legion in that final round. They needed to make a move, and ultimately just didn't have the time. Yeah, John probably overextends the bomb. You'd like to see somebody else who isn't carrying the objective that we immediately need to get down, moving into that position, and Afro just deals with 2 of them. Fantastically well done. Temp falls. London find the game. And I would say mixed bag. I would say London will be quite happy, obviously, with the win. Absolutely no doubt in that one. But I think they'll probably look at those hard points and say to themselves, right, could we have done better? Absolutely. They'd be very, very happy with their control, very happy with their search and destroy. Well, hard point is going to be a bone of contention for them until they get things sorted. That's where you're going to struggle the most when a new player is going to come in the likes of replacing Gizmo with Harry. Hardpoint is going to be a struggle for them. Maybe change their speed up and see how things are going to work out for them. But yeah, they'll be happy with the win nonetheless.
Yeah, and again, it comes down, you got to remember London at the start of the season, #1 hardpoint break team. They don't have that anymore, so they have to find a way to maybe tighten those screws just a little bit. But on the positive side, for London, dominant in 2, 3, and 5. It looked like their game the entire way through, and that's something they can rely on. But I'm not going to break down any more of this game. Obviously, it's time to bring in our wonderful desk to see what they think.
Oh, what's going on, Bryson 10? Thank you. So, London, they actually have a lot to look forward to, by the way, to answer your question. Okay, when Afro's going crazy, going 10-4, especially with that 2K to close out, search and destroy, I think that was on John and Jimbo. That was key. But the biggest highlight in this entire lobby was absolutely Harry, okay? I love Gizmo, and I love what Gizmo brought to the London Royal Ravens, but we can't deny the fact that Harry is a very streaky AR player.
Harry is disgusting. I mean, some of the plays he was making on the map, even in the maps they lost, Harry was going positive and making huge plays to keep them in the game. When it came to the respawns on that Tuscan, it was always Harry on that initial rotation, and it was always Harry winning the rotational gunfights. And it wasn't always just picking up one. He was always catching 2. He was always grabbing 2 pieces to keep them in the game. Unfortunately, in both respawns, it was a streak to kind of close out and get that final break for the side of Paris Legion. But Harry has really shown what he has brought to this squad, and now it's just about the consistency of all of them playing together in the teamwork down the line. this squad, it might get back to T3 form.
Harry was extremely streaky right there, but I'm also, the one thing that I am concerned about when it comes to London, by the way, I was talking to Ali a second ago, and it's their hard points. The hard points were close, and they're not breaking like they could. When it came to Tuscan towards the end, the last 3 hills especially, those were vital hills, right? They were unable to get those breaks, and it's like, okay, London, we know you can frag out, but when it comes to that teamwork still, we're waiting on it to come. But last thing on Harry before you comment, what did you put in your notes again about Harry? It was, don't say the word.
I can't say the word, but I did write Harry is gross. Just bleep that out right there. But what's funny about the breaking point that you made, breaking point, get that, is that London Royal Ravens were the best breaking team in the game in the beginning of the season. Like, they refused to learn how to rotate and were just winning hard points and respawns by just breaking in, busting through the front, and now they're slacking and they're breaking. So I wonder if maybe Gizmo had a play in that, but when you have Harry on rotation, I'm thinking the respawn in the squad will just come eventually down the line. But we also have to talk about the likes of Afro. Afro is so consistent in just being so annoying. He is easily probably one of the best SMG players when it comes to Gavutu hardpoint. Watching him on that map is literally incredible.
I love that point right there. Afro, I feel like everyone knows he's great, but I still feel like he's underrated because he's so dang good. But we actually have a game field post-victory spotlight with the newcomer on London Royal Ravens. Kind of, but not really, right? It's going to be Harry. Let's get him up on the screen. Harry, shout out to you, man. You looking fresh. You got a big win, and you went absolutely insane. But I have a question for you, right? You guys are dominant on Search and Destroy. 12-3 map round count, by the way. But when it came to hardpoint, London Royal Ravens were the best when it came to breaking hills, but at the last 3 hills when it came to Tuscan, especially on, I believe it was P3, you guys, no, P4, you guys really couldn't cut it. In the future, what are things you're looking to get better at when it comes to hardpoint to where you guys can get back to dominant form and be well-rounded?
I feel like we just gotta like start rotating, honestly.
Yes.
Like start getting good spawns. I feel like we're just fighting like bad spawns the whole time. Like we can hold hills, you just gotta rotate to it. We're just fighting it the whole time.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You're never gonna break consistently.
I completely agree with you. And again, London Royal Ravens at the beginning of the season, that's all they were doing is breaking. And I promise you, in every one of my notes, I was like, please rotate for the love of God. So hopefully you can bring that comms into the other 3 on the squad. But I do have to ask this. So you guys, across the board, when it comes to London Royal Ravens, you were talking about having a role change, right? I feel like we were all having this conversation of Zero might be going on to the sub. I feel like we maybe saw him bringing out once on the Tuscan hardpoint. Is that actually something that's gone into play? Is he just bringing it out sometimes? Is it an official role change? Just wondering if you guys could clear that up for us.
I think we were just trying it like that map. I think Trey's running the sub on Tuscan and then but he's ARing on Berlin. I think it's just that map.
All right, Harry, man. Oh, I'm sorry, I cut you off. Did you have more to say?
No, that was it.
All right, there we go. Well, Harry, man, I'm loving what we see from you so far. Do you have anything to say to the fans out there, man? London has been going strong this year. You guys have been going hard. And with you in the mix now, we're waiting for you guys to get back in that top 3 form.
Yeah, honestly, just keep supporting us. I appreciate all my friends, family supporting me. Just keep doing your stuff.
Hey, keep killing it, Harry. I'll holler at you later, man. You take it easy.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye.
No problem. By the way, the way Harry talks, he's so like just smooth, calm, and just, you know, just chill after a big win like that. I love his speed.
But it was smiles across the board. And I guess to kind of close out this series, the Paris Legion kind of did what we expect them to do. John had a bit of struggle maps. And like we said, when John is struggling, it feels like everybody is. And when it comes to Paris Legion, there's always a player that I feel like gets put in the blender at some point. Like, it comes on like map by map. It's always somebody different too. Like, John's in the blender. Oh, now Jimbo's in the blender. Oh, now Gravity's in the blender. Like, it doesn't feel like everybody's on all cylinders at once.
I have a take. I saw what John was trying to do on maps like Berlin and all, him trying to cut through the mid and all, but it was not Afro or any of the SMGs that was dogging him. It was really Zero. Zero was taking complete advantage of him every time John tried to come in for a flank or a break. So, my opinion, maybe next time they could look out for that more. Maybe John could get a little bit more loose because when he did, it made such a difference on hardpoint. I love to see it. But coming up next, we actually have... we have Major III, and that's going to be amazing, right? So check this out. You see it on the top side of your screen? Sold out and sold out. Get your tickets right now. You don't want to miss it. Texas was insane. Minnesota had passion. But I feel like Toronto is just going to be just different. I love it. I love the place.
It is going to be different. It's a Major III. It's going to be in Toronto. I've heard it's a beautiful place with a lot of great food. But as you can see, there are already passes sold out. So make sure you grab your tickets now. June 2nd through the 5th. It's gonna be hot, so make sure you bring some tank tops and some shorts, guys, because it's gonna be a great time.
By the way, this is gonna be, in my opinion, the most competitive major that we're gonna have this year for the simple fact that we're halfway through. Everybody knows the game now, okay? Everybody knows what each other are made of, and now they're shooting for those points to be able to make it to champs, but also what they're gonna be shooting for is some money, because we're gonna have $10,000 up for grabs for selected matchups coming up next week, right? And the last one is pretty much gonna be a cherry on top. Now, you win the game, you win $10,000. Everybody loves money, right? That's what Call of Duty is.
Involuntary high roller chows is what I'm calling this for likes of these pro teams, and you know how good it would be to just win one of these matches and being like, I'm Uber eating dinner tonight thanks to, you know, whoever that you beat. Say Texas beat Atlanta again. Thanks Atlanta for
Simp for the Chipotle. Basically, but yeah, that's gonna be really fun to watch. Ali, we should be placing our bets as well. I'm gonna bet Nameless. He's a betting man.
He is very much a betting man, but I am also a betting woman, so we'll see.
Definitely. Now, ladies and gentlemen, coming up next is going to be a really interesting game, okay? We're going to have Toronto Ultra, the host of Major III, facing off against a questionable Seattle Surge, a team that's been hot and cold all around, and hopefully they can show us something good in this series coming up. We'll catch you on the other side to continue on with more hot Call of Duty action.